Guys, please check your audio and video settings, please. Guys, everyone, please check your audio and video settings, please. Yeah, other day we developed a first application in Spring Boot. I hope you remembered it. Other day we completed first application. I hope everyone completed that first application. Yeah. Spring application flow starts with the main method, guys. Flow starts with the main method. Inside the main method, Spring application dot run method is there now. That will start the flow. That will bootstraps the application. Bootstrapping means starts the application. Everything starts with that. Everything starts with that. Spring Boot first application flow of execution. Spring application dot run method is a static method of Spring application class. I'm talking about this method. Static method of Spring application performs bootstrapping, starting of the Spring Boot application by performing multiple activities, including application context IOC container creation by taking given class as the configuration class. Array run method ra babu. Run method. In Spring Boot, we have two IOC container, Bean Factory application context. In standalone Spring Boot application, the run method of Spring application class uses following statement to create IOC container. Annotation config application context CTX is equal to new annotation config application context given configuration class. From where it will gather the given configuration class, guys? Main method class will become configuration class. Wherever at the rate Spring Boot application annotation is there, okay, that class becomes configuration class. That class becomes configuration class. Is that clear, guys? Simply that class becomes configuration class, guys. Spring application dot run method is having two arguments. How many arguments are there? Spring application dot run method is having two arguments. Argument one, current class nothing but Spring Boot application class as the configuration class. Array main class boss, where at the rate Spring Boot application is there, that will become configuration. Argument two, ARGS, nothing but command line argument. We can bind to Spring Bean properties. So these command line arguments, which are nothing but ARGS array, can be bound to Spring Bean properties. Can be bind means can be injected to Spring Bean properties, right? Yes. Other day we developed season finder or wish message generator application, and I would like to give flow of execution with respect to that. Okay, as usually see, observe this. Target class season finder is there. Dependent is predefined class, guys. That is configured as a Spring Bean using at the rate bean method, local date time, local date, guys. And no need of separate configuration class, no need of XML file. Only two things are there. Only two things. One is target class, one is main class. Inside the main class, I configured local datetime class object as Spring Bean using at the rate bean method. Simply using at the rate bean method, and in the main class, main method is also there. There only entire code is written. I hope you remembered everything, guys. I hope you remembered. We developed other day Spring Boot application. Only two .java files are there. One is target class, which is a user-defined class, configured as a Spring Bean using at the rate component annotation. Using what? Second one is predefined class local date time. which is a user a predefined class, and I configured as a Spring Bean using bean method, simply using bean method, where I kept that bean method main class. Why? Main class is annotated with what? Configuration class. Indirectly. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, guys. Let's understand the flow, guys. Number one, we run the application. Standalone application, we run that. When we run the application, who executes, guys? Main method. Number two, main method. Number three, Spring application dot run method is called bootstrapping or a bootstrapping computer, starting the application. Number three. Number four, takes given main class as the configuration class. Number five, loads this class, creates the object and makes it as a Spring Bean come configuration class. Why, sir? Spring Boot application annotation internally contains configuration annotation. Na? So in that process, it loads the class, creates the object, makes the object as what? Spring Bean come configuration class. Okay, number six, it reads Spring Boot application annotation. It reads Spring Boot application annotation. Inside that annotation, mm, number seven, it takes enable auto configuration annotation and checks, are there any special starters that are added to class path to perform auto configuration activity? Tell me, guys, while creating our first project, did we added any auto configuration? Did we add any special starters, boss? Did we add any special starters, my dear? Dinesh, from my side, no issue. Check your side. Am I audible, guys? Number seven, it checks any special starters are added to class path or not. Not added. Not added. So no auto configuration. Maybe in the coming examples, we will see, guys. In the coming examples, we will see. Hmm. Component scan annotation of Spring Boot application. Number eight, guys. Component scan annotation of Spring Boot application scans. Current package. Our main class is there in com.nt package, guys. It scans that current package and its sub packages to get all classes name that are annotated with the stereotype annotation like component. Okay. In that process, it finds only one class, that is what? Season finder. Only one class, that is season finder. Come on, guys. In that process, it finds only one class, that is season finder. I want reply. Yeah, it finds how many stereotype annotation classes, guys? At the rate component scan annotation of Spring Boot application scans current package com.nt and its subpackages to get all class names that are annotated with the stereotype annotation, like at the rate component. In that process, finds season finder. In that process, finds a season finder. Guys, at the rate component scan annotation of Spring Boot application scans. How many classes it finds having at the rate stereo annotation? Only one. Okay, that is number 8, guys. Tell me here what happened. Number 9. Number 9. Tell me. IOC container searches for at the rate bean methods in configuration class and finds only one at the rate bean method in the at the rate Spring Boot application class. Sir, looking for configuration, but how does it finds? Array at the rate Spring Boot application is the annotation. Having 3 annotations now, boss. At the rate Spring Boot application equal to, tell me, at the rate configuration plus mm, at the rate configuration plus at the rate component scan plus at the rate component scan plus at the rate enable auto configuration. It's a combination of 3 things now, boss. Yes, guys. Because of at the rate enable auto configuration, what happened? Because of at the rate enable auto configuration, come on, guys, what happened? It will try to perform auto configuration, but no special starter, no auto configuration. Because of at the rate component scanning, all stereotype annotation classes are found. At the rate configuration, at the rate component scan, at the rate enable auto configuration. Super, guys. IOC container searches for everyone, please come back. These three annotations, guys. Okay, using first one configuration class, it inside that it look for at the rate bean methods. Second one to look for user defined classes annotated with the stereotype annotation. Third one auto configuration. In this example, no auto configuration, guys. Same as our Spring application flow, but small change, guys. Number 10. IOC container searches for singleton scope, Spring Beans, and performs pre-instantiation. Performs pre-instantiation. Tell me, guys, total how many beans are there for singleton scope? Season finder singleton scope. At the rate bean method is also singleton scope, right, guys? Right, guys. So both the objects are created or not? IOC container perform pre-instantiation. Season finder class object is created. At the rate bean method is executed and local date class object is created. That is number 10. Okay, then it looks for what, guys? Number 11. As part of pre-instantiation, singleton scope. As part of pre-instantiation, singleton scope, guys. What, guys? Singleton scope. Hmm. Stereo. Stereotype annotation classes will be instantiated automatically, and at the rate bean methods of configuration class will be executed automatically. So that's why season finder object is created, at the rate bean is also ready. Number 11. At the rate component scan annotation activates the code related to at the rate auto void annotation to search and get all the has a properties where at the rate auto void annotation is applied. In this process, it finds only in what? Season finder Spring Bean class. It finds only in season finder Spring Bean class. It found there, guys. It found there, right? Number 12 gets the type. What is the type? Local date. Local date. Local date. Next. Number 12 gets the type, guys. Number 13 gets the type. And also searches. Is there any Spring Bean whose name is, class name is local date? Yes, there. Takes that object and injects to target class object. Takes that object and injects to target class object. That is number 12. Number 11, it identifies where at the rate auto void is there. Number 12, takes that Spring Bean, takes that property whose gets the name. What is that class name? Local date. Taken, boss. Takes that and searches for is there any Spring Bean whose class name is, whose type is local date. Found there. Okay, takes the object and injects the object. Look at the 12. Look at the 12, guys. At the rate auto void annotation gets the as a property type local date and searches for the Spring Bean whose class name is local date. Yes, there. So makes the IOC container to inject local date class object, nothing but dependent class object to season finder. What is that? Season finder class object has a property. Season finder class object has a property that is date. This is nothing but field injection, guys. This is seriously nothing but field injection. Is that clear? Guys, everyone please come back. I think some network issue is coming here. Everyone. Yes, boss. Tell me, everyone come back. I change this one. Okay, fine. Right. Everyone please come back. At the rate auto wide connotation gets as a property, boss. Come on. Has a property. This is nothing but field injection. So number 12, injection is done. Okay. Injection is done. What is number 13, guys? For reusability, IOC container keeps singleton scope Spring Bean class objects in the internal cache of IOC container. They will be kept in internal cache of IOC container. Bean ID, its object reference. Local date class object bean ID, its reference. Okay, a configuration class is also one Spring Bean, guys. You know, no ID is given means class name becomes default Spring Bean ID. Class name having first letter lowercase, B small letter, bean ID and its object. So keys are nothing but bean IDs, guys. Bean IDs and okay, this is what bean class object references. Bean class object refs. Bean class object ref, guys. For internal reference, all the Spring Bean objects are kept there. Super. Number 14. Come on. 14. Array run method execution is completed and returns application context object. Super. 15. ctx.getBean sf comma season finder dot class. Okay. 15. GetBean is called having bean ID sf. It comes to internal cache and searches. Is there any Spring Bean whose bean ID is SF? Is there? In that process, we get season finder class object. In that process, we get season finder class object. I want reply from you people. Everyone, please. Please reply. Okay. Then next one, we are calling the business method. String result is equal to finder dot find season 15. Control goes to target class find season method. Target class find season method. That is 19, guys. There, okay, summer season. Okay, right now we are in summer season. Less than or equal to 6 is there. That's why summer season. 20, guys. Control comes back to this one, 21, result 1. We are displaying the result 22. We are closing the container 23. When you close the container, all Spring Bean objects will be vanished, including internal cache. Everything will be vanished. Super. Number 24, end of the main method. End of the main method means end of the application execution. Tell me, except some headache towards a Spring Boot application internal annotation, otherwise flow is same as Spring. Na? At least now you agree with me. It is extension of Spring. Spring Boot is extension of Spring. At least you realize it that or not. At least you realize it that or not. But I think one, two places screen got frozen. That's the reason on public demand. On public demand, I'm going to explain the flow one more time. Okay. Okay. Yeah, see guys, whenever you get some screen frozen issue or whenever I maintain gap, assume that, okay, I'm typing message, one-to-one message for the question asked in the chat box. That time small gap may come. Generally, I avoid doing that. But if someone is continuously putting the message, then I will try to reply in the chat box. Right. Okay. Number one, we run the application, guys. Super. Number two, main method. Number three, this line executes. Spring application dot run method execute. Bootstrapping of the application is done. As part of bootstrapping, takes the given class, first argument of the run method as the configuration class, guys. That is number four. Number five, guys, loads that class, creates the object, makes that object as Spring Bean. Okay. Number six, guys, it reads this annotation. That annotation is internally having how many annotation? Three annotations. Okay, first notices. Notices. Are there any special starters in the project? Not there. So at the rate auto configuration will not do anything because no starters are added. Special starters are not added. Number eight, guys. Number eight. This annotation, Spring Boot application annotation, is internally having at the rate component scan annotation also. Okay, what is the package of main class, guys? com.nt. Com.nt. Generally, we try to keep as a root package, guys. Main class in a root package, remaining all classes in the sub packages of the root package. So that component scan will happen smoothly, boss. What happened? Component scan annotation of Spring Boot application annotation. Go to current package and sub packages, searches for are there any classes annotated with stereotype annotation. Found only one class, guys. That is season finder. That is number eight. Number nine, boss. IOC container searches for at the rate bean methods. Are there any at the rate bean method in the configuration class? Direct configuration class is not there, but Spring Boot application class is there. Goes to that class, finds one at the rate bean method. Finds one at the rate bean method. Okay, guys. Number 10, guys. What IOC container will do? Okay, you will search for are there any singleton scope Spring Bean configuration? Yes, there. Singleton scope Spring Bean configuration is there or not there? Yes, there, guys. Singleton scope Spring Bean configuration. Yeah, yeah. One stereotype annotation class found, one at the rate bean method found. Both are having no scope. That means default is singleton scope. Singleton scope Spring Beans are instantiated now, boss. Yes. Instantiated means what? Because of pre-instantiation, okay, season finder class object is created. At the rate bin method is called. So that what happened, guys? Season finder class object, local date class object. Super. Season finder class object, local date class object. Super. Okay, that is number 10, guys. Number 11. At the rate component scan also having the code to activate code related to at the rate auto avoid annotation. In this process, first it searches how many at the rate auto avoid annotations are there in Spring Beans. Unfortunately, only one. What is that? In season finder class, that is there. Number 12, guys. In season finder class, that is there. Number 12. This at the rate auto avoid annotation. First, what it will do? Gets the class name of the property, local date. Then it looks for, is there any Spring Bean whose class name is local date? Is there. So that what happens, guys? That object will be injected to has a property of season finder class object. So number 12, dependent class object is injected to target class object. 13, guys. For future utilization, both these objects are kept in internal cache. For future utilization, both these objects are all these objects are both these objects are kept in what? IOC container. IOC container internal cache. All objects, whatever it created. Having bean IDs as the keys, bean class object reference as the values. Next, number 14. Spring application dot run method returns application context object representing the IOC container. Representing the IOC container, right, boss? Representing the IOC container. Is that clear, my dear? That is number 14, guys. 15, calling ctx.getBean method. 16, goes to internal cache, gets the object and gives to this one. That is 17. 18, calling the business method. 19, executes the business method definition. 20th, this logic satisfied that logic related output, guys. 20. That result comes to whom, guys? Main method only. Everything is happening in the main method. That is 21. Result is displayed 22. Container is closed. In that process, all objects and internal cache are destroyed, guys. That is 23. 24, end of the main method. 24 is what, guys? End of the main method. Everyone understanding, guys? End of the main method, end of the application. Easy, guys. Same as Spring only, na? It is looking very much same as Spring only. Only that Spring Boot application annotation is bit extra. Earlier, we used to work with stereotype annotation, component scan, configuration annotations directly. This time, we are working indirect. You have submitted your resume. Interviewer coming to interview cabin with resume. In the resume, he has seen both. In the list of framework, he has seen both Spring and Spring Boot. The moment he observes Spring comma Spring Boot in your resume skill set, okay, first question he will ask, can you define what is the difference between Spring and Spring Boot? Then you can put reverse question. Sir, you want one line answer or elaborated answer? Don't say sir. As a fresher, you may say sir, but an experienced person, take his name and say the statement. Mr. Ram, Mr. Srinivas, Mr. Venkat, Mr. XYZ, whatever it is. Yeah, Mr. Venkat, do you need a single liner or elaborated one? Definitely is a elaborated. Whenever you say elaborated was, okay, by the time. When known question comes, try to give elaborated, detailed answer. If possible, take a piece of paper and try to write on the paper. Try to explain through diagrams. Try to explain by writing sample code. Whenever known question comes, you have to buy the time. Whenever unknown question comes, Don't attempt and failure for multiple times. Attempt once or zero time. Then tell him, I never come across this question. Can we discuss something else? Can you ask? Don't say it. Can we discuss something else? Because job seeker will be treated as a guest to the company. Guest never ask or guest just request. So that's a better wording is can we discuss? Can we move our conversation on other topics? But for once in a while, you can use this answer, guys. For every question, you cannot use this answer. He asked, what is polymorphism? I never come across this. Can we discuss something else? Not going to work out. He asked some corner questions. That time you may use this answer. When unknown questions are raised, attempt once. If he says not a correct answer, better not to attempt second, third time, and better not to get multiple rejections. Instead of instead of getting no, 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 you are not correct for three time, four time. Instead of that, it's better to commit. I never come across that topic. Can we go for next discussion? In his brain, that negativity will not be there. But whenever known question comes, spend the time, elaborate it, buy the time. You should satisfy him. Unknown question comes, one attempt or zero attempt. Otherwise, ask him to go to next discussion. It's like mind game, guys. What is mind game? He asked, what is Spring? What is Spring Boot? I never come across this. Can we discuss something else? Then it's meaningless, right? Really, really meaningless. That is going to be really meaningless. So I have given very elaborated answer, guys. Elaborated answer. Out of this, you just give 5 to 6 differences, interviewer will be happy. It is also called as Java EE framework or application framework. It is just called Spring Boot framework, no other names, guys. Provides abstraction on Java J2EE technologies and simplifies their application development. Provides abstraction on Spring Boot Spring framework and simplifies applications development. Avoids boilerplate code related to Java JEE technologies based application development, but still continues boilerplate code. Avoids Spring framework related to what? Boilerplate code. Array, this is technologies related boilerplate code is avoided and simplifies application development. But within the Spring also some boilerplate code is there. That will be avoided in Spring. What is boilerplate code, guys? The code that repeats in multiple parts of the project or application, either with no changes or with minor changes. Either with no changes or with minor changes. Either with no changes or with minor changes. Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on. Are in JDBC. Spring gives abstraction on it, avoid boilerplate code. In that also some extra boilerplate code will be there. To avoid that boilerplate code, we have go for this. Now, what kind of boilerplate code? You look at microservice architecture. Every service is separate project. Every project need to talk with the database. Connection pool in every project. Data source in every project. Connection configuration in every project is required. That is also boilerplate code now, boss. across the multiple projects, same work we are doing again and again. If it is a Spring, in Spring Boot, such things will happen automatically through auto configuration. That's what. The main feature of Spring Framework is dependency management, both dependency injection and dependency lookup. The main feature of Spring Boot framework is auto configuration, giving common things automatically. Giving common things automatically, right, guys? Supports XML driven configuration to provide inputs or configurations to IOC container. Does not support XML driven configuration directly. Spring Boot avoids or minimizes XML driven configurations. But still we use XML in special cases, guys. If you want to use if you want to use certain features of Spring Bean for which annotations are not there, like method replacer, bean aliasing, inner beans, tiles, bean inheritance, collection merging, and etc. Some names are there, guys. Some topic names are there. We need to link Spring Bean configuration file to Spring Boot application annotation classes using @import resource annotation. Recollect, other day we are forced to work with what? Alias name tag, alias tag to solve the ambiguity problem. To solve the ambiguity problem with 100% loose coupling. Recollect bean aliasing. Is there any annotation performing bean aliasing? Not there. Then we have done through XML. In that situation, we linked that XML file with the configuration class by using @import resource annotation or not. By using @import resource annotation or not. Allows to develop application using three types of configuration. XML driven, XML plus annotation driven, lastly 100% code driven configuration. Lastly, 100% code-driven configurations. Supports only one style of configuration, that is through annotations. Directly giving auto configuration inputs through application.properties or YML. Can add special configuration using XML through @import resource annotation. It supports all the three officially, guys. It mainly supports through Java. What is that? Annotations based configuration. But if you want to give inputs to auto configuration, you can give them through application.yml or property file. In special situation where annotations are not sufficient, here also you can use XML and you can link with that XML with what? Main class, Spring Boot application class using what? @import resource annotation. Using what, guys? @import resource annotation. Is that clear, my dear? I want reply. Programmer creates IOC container explicitly, except in Spring MVC application. Except in Spring MVC application, okay, IOC container will be created manually here. Programmer does not create IOC container. Rather, he gets it by calling Spring application.run method according to application type. Is it not interesting, Rababu? Rather, he gets it by calling Spring application.run method according to the application type. Simply and according to the application type. Is it not interesting, Rababu? I want reply. Does not give embedded server. So to run Spring-based web application, we need to arrange servers explicitly. Go for external servers only. Gives Tomcat Jetty as servers as embedded servers in web application only for testing. Also allows to work with both embedded and external server. And it has got embedded server. If needed, you can work with external servers also. If needed, that comes external servers also. What's the difference between external server and embedded server? The server that are explicitly installed by programmer in your computer hard disk and linked to IDEs is called external server. The server that is installed by programmers manually is called external server. Glassfish, Tomcat, Wildfire, etc. Node. Tomcat is popular as embedded and external server. Embedded database software means in-memory database software. In Spring Boot, I can use both embedded servers and external server. In Spring, only external server. Does not give any in-memory databases, guys. Does not give any in-memory databases. Clear, boss? Does not give any in-memory databases. Do you think it will give in-memory databases, guys? Does not give in-memory databases. Databases also should be installed explicitly every time. Gives embedded or in-memory database like H2 HSQL only for testing and supports both embedded and external databases. It gives embedded one, also allows to work with external. See, so flexibility in boss. See, generally at the time of development, okay, they don't purchase high-end machines in AWS cloud, guys. So they purchase very limited one development time. So that time we try to manage with embedded database, embedded servers. But in production, we try to use external servers and external databases because that is the real application. So no problem, guys. No problem, guys. H2DB we can use in real time. In production, no. UAT, no. User acceptance test, testing at client organization, no. Yes, at the time of development and testing, yes, we can use. In development, local development, yes, you can do it. But in production environment, no. In production environment, no. For local development, local deployment, embedded servers, embedded database are okay, guys. Supports good amount of loose coupling using Spring Bean configuration file. Changing one dependent with another dependent for target class without touching Java source code. Loose coupling is bit less because all configuration takes place through annotation, which is Java code. To get perfect loose coupling here, we need to work with XML file support. In Spring Boot also, we have to use XML. But XML is not official in Spring Boot, guys. That's why a bit less loose coupling, I said. We need to add dependencies jar file manually and directly. Using Maven Gradle, we can get dependent jar file when we add main jar file. Still, we need to add relevant jar files explicitly. Array here main when you here no starters concept, guys. When you add main jar file, you will get dependent jar file along with the main jar file. That's it. But are you going to get relevant jar files? No. But Spring Boot gives starters, which provides main jar, dependent jar, and relevant jar. So in Spring, no starters, guys. That's why when you add main jar file, you will get only dependent jar. In Spring Boot, starters are there. When you add starters, you will get main jar, dependent jar, relevant jars. So more powerful or not, boss? Suitable for new projects development to enhance existing projects and to migrate projects from one version to another version of Spring. Other version of Spring supports for both brownfield and greenfield project development. Or nothing is there. Using Spring, I can develop scratch level projects. I can enhance the existing project. I can migrate from one version of Spring to another version, or one technology of Spring to another technology. It is suitable for all kinds of projects, guys. Scratch level development, migration good, enhancement good, everything is good. That's why using Spring, I can develop both greenfield and brownfield project. Greenfield means scratch level. Brownfield means enhancing the existing one. I already discussed. Naya Raipur is a brownfield city or greenfield city? Naya Raipur is a brownfield city or greenfield city? Yeah, greenfield city, guys. Not suitable for migration projects and also not suitable to convert Spring projects to Spring Boot project, but very much suitable for new projects development from scratch level. Supports only greenfield project development. Why, sir? Why it is not suitable for enhancement? Array, in Spring, so many features comes automatic manually, boss. Lot of at the rate bean methods are manually configured. But when you convert into Spring Boot, most of the predefined classes will come as Spring Boot through auto configuration. You are already configured manually, and some classes are coming through auto configuration. Clash may come among both the things. Clash may come among the both the things. That's the reason. Bit lightweight compared to Spring Boot because no auto configuration support. Lightweight in terms of memory utilization and CPU time consumption. Why? Only necessary beans will be prepared. Unnecessarily Spring beans will not be prepared because in Spring no auto configuration. Bit heavyweight compared to Spring because of auto configuration. Many unnecessarily objects will be created. Even unnecessarily jars may be added. Unnecessary jars may add. Spring Boot starter JDBC gives following objects. Hikari data source object, JDBC template, named parameter JDBC template, data source transaction manager comes through auto configuration. Let us assume you are using only JDBC template. Remaining everything is wasted numbers. Spring Framework is suitable for developing standalone applications and small scale and medium scale web application. Small scale and medium scale web application. Understanding my statement? No support for Spring Boot is good for developing large scale web application, distributed applications, and microservice architecture application. Microservice architecture says develop different modules as different projects and integrate them using third party libraries. And while developing different projects, all projects need some common activities like database connection, connection pool, data sources, and lot of other common things, guys. So if multiple projects are representing multiple modules in microservice architecture, in every project, common operations can be automated through auto configuration. Okay. No exclusive support for microservice architecture based application development. No exclusive support for microservice architecture based application development. Supports more exclusively, guys. No built-in property file support. That means every property file must be configured explicitly. No. Array application.properties or YML file will be configured automatically. You need not to configure it explicitly. You need not to configure it explicitly, guys. No support for YML files. In Spring Boot, we can work with property file or YML file. YMLs are alternate to property file. Why, sir? In property file, if keys are having multiple nodes, in multiple keys, multiple nodes will be repeated. In YML, that headache is not there. In YML, we write in a hierarchical model. We write in a hierarchical model. We cannot inject entries of property file or YML file to Spring Bean properties through bulk injection process. That means we need to go for one-to-one injection, boss, using at the rate value annotation. We need to go for one-to-one injection using at the rate value annotation. Clear, my dear? Got it? Supports the bulk injection in the same environment using at the rate configuration properties annotation. At the rate configuration properties annotation. Is that clear, boss? Supports bulk injection in the same environment using at the rate configuration properties environment. Clear, boss? Got the point, my dear? I want reply. Yeah, array here only value annotation, but here bulk injection. At a time, 10-20 properties can be injected by using this annotation only for one time. Gives multiple independent annotation to use in Spring Framework. In detailed annotations are there. Gives advanced annotation which internally combines multiple related annotation. First example, at the rate Spring Boot application annotation is equal to configuration annotation, auto configuration annotation, component scan annotation. Gives less productivity, gives more productivity. Doing more work in less time with good accuracy is possible with a good Spring Boot. And in Spring Boot, we are going to enjoy auto configuration feature like anything. That's the main feature, boss. Are you going to remember all these differences? No, not required. You just remember 3-4 differences or 5-6 differences maximum. Developer develops the application using Spring Boot. Spring Boot application uses Spring Boot framework. Spring Boot framework uses Spring Framework. Spring Framework uses multiple technologies, and all these technologies uses Java. Microservices application is equal to web service application plus plus, especially RESTful web service application plus plus. Yeah. Tell me, guys. So that's the reason. First, I am teaching web services, especially RESTful web services. Then we are going for microservice architecture based application development. Okay, now I'm trying to give little knowledge about microservice architecture. So as of now, remember, microservices is equal to is extension of web services. Web service is given to develop distributed application to application interaction. Web services can be implemented in two approaches. SOAP-based web services. What is that? SOAP-based web services Legacy almost outdated. RESTful web services, hot cake, everyone liking in the market. JAX RPC, JAX WS are the technologies. Apache CFX, Axis are the frameworks. These are the technologies, these are the framework to develop SOAP-based web services. SOAP means Simple Object Access Protocol. Here the media of communication between client and server is only XML. Here only data exchange between application to application. Application to application. Consumer application to application can be done by using what? XML. Can be done by using XML. RESTful web services, popular hotcake, representational state transfer protocol. Representational state transfer. REST means representational state transfer. Tell me, guys. JAX RS Metro is a technology to develop RESTful web service. Is a technology to develop RESTful web services. Jersey, Spring REST, REST Easy, RESTlet, and etc. are the frameworks to develop RESTful web services. This is my Spring Boot REST, guys. Array, this one. Tell me which is good, guys. RESTful web services are good, SOAP is good. It is a hot cake, and microservices also developed based on what? JAX RS is a technology to develop RESTful web services. Jersey, Spring REST, Spring Boot REST, REST Easy, RESTlet, and etc. are the frameworks to develop the RESTful web services, guys. Come on. Could you please one example of each so easily identify? Sashikumar, did I start at least web application development? Did I at least start web application, guys? No, na? Do you think web service development is just like that? Take a class and write the code, huh? Fellows. You and your analysis. He's asking one example. Array, to complete SOAP-based example, 2-3 days time is required. To develop first RESTful application for again 2-3 days time is required. And first of all, we should know setup related to that. I'm just introducing what is what. You completed your serverless based application just like that in a minute. So setup is required. Server, deployment, development. There are not there. These are also same thing. Half knowledge fellow, don't write messages just like that. Could you please give me one example so that we can differentiate? Wait, we are going to spend on RESTful web services very soon. Before launching microservices, I am going to develop RESTful web services. 15 to 20 sessions I am going to spend on RESTful web services. I don't know from which dunya these people are landed, Babu. Do you think everything is class with main method? You and your thought process. Sir, why did you introduce here? I introduced wantedly to tell that what is microservice architecture. Spring Boot is really popular for microservices, boss. In that process, one statement has come. Microservices is extension of web services. That's why I have introduced web services. Okay, you want to remember? Very simple. In SOAP-based web services, where application to application interaction takes place, like Flipkart talking to PayPal, Flipkart talking to PayPal. Flipkart is one application, PayPal is one application. Flipkart talking to PhonePe. Flipkart is one application, PhonePe an application. The data exchange is always XML. But in RESTful web services, Data exchange is not just XML, even JSON also can be used. JSON also can be, and JSON is better format compared to XML. Extensible markup language, XML, JSON, JavaScript object notation. Both are what? Both are technology independent, operating system independent, hardware independent formats to define the content. XML and JSON are the global formats to define the global data. XML and JSON are the global formats to define the global data. Global data for exchanging data between any two compatible or incompatible applications. Compatible or incompatible applications. Compatible or incompatible applications. Using Spring Boot, we can develop standalone application, class with main method, web application, websites, distributed application. Web services applications are distributed application. Standalone, one user can operate this application. Web application, browser to software application and communication. Distributed application, software application to software application interaction. Standalone, core Java application. Web application, browser to software application interaction. Distributed application, application to application interaction. Single application. Browser to application. This is what? Application to application. Enterprise applications is equal to web application plus distributed applications. We can develop these enterprise application either having regular architecture, nothing but developing different services as different modules of a single project. That is nothing but monolithic architecture, guys. I think I already introduced this concept. I already introduced this concept one day, right? All services as all different modules, and we pack them into single unit. We pack them into single unit. Or we can develop using microservice architecture. Nothing but developing different services as different projects. Check it out. E-commerce application, monolithic architecture, guys. All services as different modules, but all modules are interconnected, but all of them packed into single var or Java file. These modules are different packages of e-commerce application. So these are tightly coupled with one e-commerce application. Can I use payment module in other e-commerce project? Can I use inventory module in other project of e-commerce, guys? No. Now listen, e-commerce application by using microservice architecture. Sales microservice, separate project. Payment microservice, separate project. Promotions microservice, separate project. Inventory microservice, separate project. And all of them are integrated with each other. All of them are integrated with each other. Come on, let's say something. These microservices are independent projects. So they can be used either in one e-commerce application or in multiple e-commerce applications, guys. Either in one e-commerce application or in multiple e-commerce applications. Clear, guys? A Spring Boot application is equal to 100% code-driven configuration approach plus auto configuration. Approach. Spring Boot application is equal to, we do coding using 100% code-driven configuration, and main feature is auto configuration. Main feature is auto configuration. Why Spring Boot is popular for microservice architecture? You only analyze. How many projects are there representing services? 4 services, 4 projects. Here database, here database, here database, here database. Here connection pool required, here required, here required, here required. Here connectivity with the database required, here required, here required, here required. But here server required, here server required, here server required, here server required. Here database required. Now see the beauty now. Now see the beauty now. The beauty is very, very interesting. The beauty is very, 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 very interesting, boss. I can get database through auto configuration. Server come auto configuration. No, they don't have common database. They have their own database. Then only and connection to database auto configuration, connection pool through auto configuration, data source through auto configuration. So that means a lot of big technical aspects are coming through auto configuration. With that, our life becomes easy or not? With that, our life becomes easy or not, guys? Across the multiple projects that are acting as microservices, we can avoid common operations by getting them through auto configuration. So with this, first application launching, flow of execution and done. Okay. Tomorrow onwards, be mentally prepared to see one mini project using Spring Boot, guys. Because I want to show auto configuration feature by developing one mini project. Auto configuration feature by developing one mini project. Are you ready, guys? So revise Java Beans knowledge urgently, and Lambda KPI. If you have not completed watching of both the videos, please do it urgently. Tomorrow onwards, I am going to use those 2 videos knowledge. Those 2 videos knowledge like anything, guys. Class content Spring 901. What's your code? 901. Spring Core, guys. Not Spring Core. Spring Boot Core, guys. What is today's date? 27th. Thank you, my dear students. We'll meet tomorrow. Which videos are Lambda KP and Java Bean videos? It is there in videos folder. Links are there in video.